show. He just went on and became involved in labor struggles and represented singing at labor marches and labor events, and also every possible political activity he was involved in. And so if you don't know any more about Paul Robeson, I recommend highly that you look into his life. I'm going to show you another short clip of a part of the movie, part of the program that we did in Detroit with Paul Robeson. So I'll give you a minute clip of this. And this is also on YouTube. Do you remember when you first came in touch with Paul Robeson? Year, place?
No,
The action with the labor struggles, the Peekskill event where he was attacked in New York, and then the attempts to silence Robeson, and then the role that's Hartford Robeson's message. And his message is exactly why we're here today, because this is the symbol of what we're trying to do with Progressive Arts, this organization. If I can't think of a better example of an artist using their artistry for activism, Paul Robeson is a supreme example for me. So inspired by him, inspired by many other people too. Years ago I got involved in activism, and you all know me as a musician in the music world and stuff, and so I got involved in producing shows that are political and playing political events and lending my talents as much as I can to the political struggle, many different issues. So I know all through these years I've run across many other people who do the same thing and are committed activists, but they're also artists. Most of them, unfortunately, are in a position where they have to make a living, and they have to make money to survive, and so they can't always do what they want to do with their art and let it go and say and make a statement and take a risk. I'm at a stage in my life where it's getting a little easier for me, fortunately. Playing out love in my life, so I have more willingness and time to try to bring something like this together among artists, and this is why we invited artists here today, people who have the skill to use in the struggle. So what this purpose today is, we're going to do it, we're lining up the event like this. So I'm going to put on the screen a list of names, and I want to try to get input from all of you folks on people that we all know ourselves, that are artists locally, who should be active with this group, or certainly we should know about. So we're going to just open that up to the audience. We've got names, put everybody under one category or another so that you fit in music, art, photography, film, whatever field of art you work in. And then we'll start trying to expand this list of people and try to network with these people, because even though we're in totally different fields, some of us do graphic arts and a computer, other person is a photographer, other person is a singer. They may never have a chance to work with each other, but in this group we have one thing in common, that we're all progressive and that we want to share our political beliefs through our art. So in that way we're all a family of progressive artists, regardless of what field we work in. So that's the hope for this. And we have several events coming up this month, and probably most of you are here because you got my email list, although I'm discovering a lot of my emails are not getting out, so I have to double check what's happening there. But did everybody receive an email for today's event about this? Okay, nobody didn't? Anybody not get one? Oh, so you, okay, then you may not be on the Progressive Arts list, because
what's wrong with it?
yeah. Well, what the story here is that this mailing list is based on our first event that we had in November, which was called Marx in Soho, which was at the International Institute, and it was a performance of a play. And then we had a debate after that on is Marxism still relevant or not? And we had a sign-in sheet there. That's why we started a mailing list, Progressive Arts. In the meantime, I added names of people I know who are artists, who are progressive, who may not have been there that day, and I added them to the list too. So now the point is we're going to expand this, and you're going to tell me who else should be on this list that we should include in the invitations for these kind of events. Today is the second event we've done with Progressive Arts. The next one is going to be on April 24th, which is, and you'll get emails on this, is going to be a Children of Concern project as a roll-off spin-off from Ron Scott's work that Ron Scott did. His niece, Michelle Loveberry, is carrying on his work, and there'll be an event here at Bert's on Sunday, April 24th. It's sort of like a fashion show fundraiser for children of parents who are in prison. And it's a new organization, and I'm very excited to be part of that. And we're inviting musicians and performers and singers and artists, performing artists, to be at this event and perform with us on stage as part of this project. We want to get a name of progressive arts around the city, and we volunteered to supply music. I always work for Ron anyways, but I mean, in this case now it's going to be progressive arts. So that's the next event. And then April 30th, 6 days after that, is a Saturday afternoon, again at 4 o'clock. We're going to have an event at the Car Center, which is down on Grand River and down right behind the music hall. It's the Cultural Center for Jazz, and we're going to have a special International Jazz Day event. That's International Jazz.
More so, like working with Reverend Bullock is just through connections when I did more community stuff. So like anything, we share space, the Change Agent Consortium, where I do some of the work that I do on a wheelhouse of like going almost crazy, wondering why I'm not getting booked for shows and stuff like that. So create my own platform for media, create my own platform for shows, create my own platform to do the things that I feel like I deserve a share of. So that's pretty much the standard. But along with Pastor Bullock, I mean, the relationship's run deep. I've known Elena for years. I know Elena's daughters. So, you know, I could be just as connected to her, or Reverend Williams, or Teresa Kelly. I mean, if I know you and I feel like your intentions are sincere, same way with you, Bill. If your intentions are sincere, I'll work with you. As far as it's a lot of new people getting involved in what I guess is considered socially active and community organizing, which are still, I think, very vague terms. I don't necessarily have ties with a lot of the new people. Hopefully they're moving things forward or whatever. But if I knew you probably between the years of 2003 and 2013, and I feel you're sincere about what you do, I'll work with you. That's it. Oh yeah, that's my website. That's my friend Nick Speed. He's a music producer. He could be somebody that, like, I don't know how progressive Nick Speed is, but if I ask him to do something in support, he'll do it. So I don't know where you even put a guy like that. You know, somebody that you know that's talented, that he's really just focused on his craft. And in a lot of ways, I understand an artist just focusing on their art, you know, but they're willing to be active in the community if you ask them. I think they count for something. But, all right. Okay.
We got the next on the list is going to be Nancy Brigham, who I hadn't realized was an artist, and now she reminds us that, yes, look at the stuff she does. So here's Nancy.
I'm coming out as an artist. So I came to Detroit to work for the PR and Publications Department at the UAW. That kept me busy for a long time. But before that, I was an artist. This was a book that Steve and I did. We were Popular Economics Press, and I did all the illustrations and the design. But we self-published it and sold 100,000 copies. But now it would be like, I don't know, if anybody wants to take a look at it, I have a few copies. I need it back because I don't have that many copies. But and then yeah, I was very busy with UAW, and then about
kind of promoter activist, and I've got a few little things to tuck in on that score. But besides being a fan of Bill and Twy, and all of you are friends of mine, I also do a weekly drum circle. I've been doing it about 15 years with an open fire on Woodward. And it's kind of a shamanic drum circle with a meditational close with Tibetan bowls. It's a sound meditation, a little bit special since it's right on open fire on Woodward, violating the Detroit fire laws, among many of the other laws of Detroit and this country, which we violate on a regular basis. It's kind of an outlaw circle up in the John R. 7 Mile. And I do poetry there at the Golden Gate Cafe as Dr. Detroit. And I want to build out a little bit more performance art, spoken word, poetics, putting fun into politics, and getting a little bit more dancing going. I want to be listed under dance as well, Bill. Okay. But I have run across the mime troupe in my winters in California, and they wanted to get from Cleveland to Detroit next fall with their play on white cops and the black neighborhoods. We saw this play, it fits Detroit, it helps turn out for our election and raises consciousness and connection between Black Lives Matter and white liberals, so-called progressives. We're still rather short of the mark. I remember having Chokwe Lumumba as a guest speaker in my class 30 years ago or so, and being enshrined with Black Madonna and hearing Malcolm X introduced by Elijah Muhammad in Olympia in the white-only seating section that day. So, I mean, we do need a lot more things on race out of Detroit, and this mime troupe piece is rather comic and light, but then it hits you in the solar plexus, as mime troupe and street theater does. It's true agitation in the best sense of the word. We have two events that are corollaries to that. I'll pass cards out. They're about ending the racist drug war, the cause for police stop and frisk, the drug war, racist drug war. We have two events, 420 at Russell Center, and also an event at Grand Circus Park, which is free, tying in class rates, cops, and drugs. It's an issue the left is not quite caught up with yet. It's not on the top 10. It doesn't make the buck dinner or the liberal causes of the moment. Still people who want to put people in jail for it. Give them lifetime rap sheets as teenagers. So those two are my current projects, and I'd like to share one more personal friend. I met his mother, and his mother can vouch for him, and so can I. Myers is one of our true creative doers of the next generation. He's bringing the Merry Pranksters Roadshow to Detroit, right to this area, to this neighborhood, at a super benefit for Flint Water, Kurt. And I'm going to turn this over to my hero of the modern day, Mars. Mars Center.
Hi, I'm Marshall Simons. I came here, I was born in Detroit, and I came back here in 2010 on my bicycle, and was here to be a part of a project happening on 7 Mile and John R. A long time ago, Kirk came by and interviewed us when we first got started, and I was probably young and nervous and scared of the media and didn't even want to use my real name, and I think we've come a long way since then. We became a 501c3. We have 35 people living in 10 squatted houses throughout the neighborhood. We have large gardens, greenhouses, rainwater collection systems, solar panels on some of the roofs. And I started a pedicab company in downtown Detroit, which is to the point where I think I've rebuilt my terrible credit and got a credit card, and I just maxed it out to pay for the booking of the some of the remaining members of the Grateful Dead, some of the Merry Pranksters, a bunch of people who I've never really heard of, but all my friends said this is a good thing. They're interested in helping out with the city of Flint, and we're throwing a fundraiser at 1111 Buffet. It's a 2-day event. Terrapin Flyer and some of the members of Dark Star Orchestra, and I'm hoping you guys know who they are, because from what I hear, they're legendary people. And so that's one of the things we're working on. I've been working with Rhythmic Renewal. It's a bi-weekly dance event. It happens at different places around the city. Right now it's been mostly happening in Ferndale. It's an ecstatic dance event. It's free, but we suggest a donation if you can, so we can keep paying for the spaces, or at least give a little bit of money to people who donate their space. I'm working on a project. I bought a house, and I'm over on West Grand and Buchanan, and there's 2 acres of public or of school-owned property across the street. So I opened up my house to whoopers from all over the world, and I have 3 so far that have said if I provide them a place to sleep and food to eat, they will help me to build a commons with a center. It's called Grow and Play, so it's growing food and a play space, and play can be really loosely defined, but like I mean play like the commons, like whatever it is play is to you, community engagement, a place that belongs to all of us. And that's on the former Condon school site, which is on the corner of Buchanan and West Grand Boulevard. There's a lot of empty land around there, and I think that it's something that could be duplicatable throughout that area. Market gardens run by the community. So I guess that's all the things I'm doing right now. Oh, and I have a bike messenger service now in downtown Detroit. We offer bike messenger service during like lunch hour for a bunch of restaurants, and it's been really fun, and it gives us a chance to ride bikes all winter.